Al Cox. I'm the Director of Public Safety for the City of Plymouth.
Got it. You guys rolling?
Yep, good.
Informally, can you, in a chronological sense, talk about how this call came to your attention and then how things transpired through from when you arrived?
Sure. So we received notification by a business owner this morning that they had been receiving, they received an email that came across as threatening regarding, they didn't care for the concrete business that is at the end of Junction and Carmata in the city of Plymouth. And the email came across as threatening, so the owner wanted to bring it to our attention. He felt he was being harassed. Our officers took a police report to that effect. Shortly thereafter, another email came in that indicated that the suspect, did not feel that the city was addressing zoning ordinances regarding the way that the concrete factory operates. And because the city wasn't going to enforce that he was going to take matters into his own hands. He made threats in the email regarding taking firearms and ammunition and going down and taking care of the problem himself. We immediately sent officers over to the facility to talk to the ownership and let them know that, hey, we're here and we're checking this out. We want to make sure everything's okay. And also to see if we can make contact with the person that had sent the emails. While out there, one of my officers heard what he believed to be about 4 or 5 rounds of gunfire coming from the direction of the person that had sent the emails and made the threats. So we set up a perimeter, and I made a phone call and tried to speak to the suspect and try to get him to come out and talk to us, and sorry about that, to come out and talk to us and get this resolved. And he did not want to do that. He didn't want to talk. He was happy for us to come into his house and have coffee with him, but he was not going to come out of the house and come to us. Continued to try to persuade him to come out. He wasn't going to do that. At that point, with the fact that we believe we heard gunfire, the email threats, and that the person had indicated that he had had enough and he wasn't going to come talk to us. We felt that this was a situation where we activated our Western Wayne County Special Operations Team. They came out to assist, and when they come out, we have the Crisis Negotiation Team come out, which they are crisis negotiators. We were able to put them in contact with the suspect. He spoke to them for quite some time. We never broke communication with him. We talked to him the full time, and they were able to talk to him, and eventually they were able to get him to a point where he agreed to come out, and he surrendered peacefully without incident. We took him into custody, and that's where we're at right now. We have him in custody, and we'll be in contact with Wayne County Prosecutor's Office looking at charges. We're also currently executing a search warrant at the residence, and we have detectives in there right now.
Was he armed, and if so, what were you able to say?
Right now, we believe, we know that he owns firearms, so that's one of the things we'll be searching for inside the home. We have known in the past that we were aware that he had what we believe to be a shotgun, but we'll know more about what's actually in there during the execution of the search warrant.
So you've had previous encounters with this individual then before?
We've had contact with him where he's made complaints. We've never had any, I will say, criminal contact, but we have had contact with him in the past, and we did know that he had a shotgun.
Just to be clear what you're saying, one of the responding officers initially, after letting the company know you guys were on premises, did you actually go knock on the door, or how and when again, please?
We had.
You thought shots were fired?
Yeah, because the concrete company is within, it's within sight of the residence of the suspect, and clearly within earshot. So while we were at the concrete facility, that was when he heard what he believed to be 4 to 5 rounds of gunfire.
You don't know for sure, though, sitting here now, whether he fired his weapon or not, or a weapon?
Right now, we have not confirmed that.
Okay.
That's something else that we're going to be looking for.
Got it. the individual alone at the home?
Yes.
Okay. Lives alone?
He lived with his family. His family was not present.
Got it. And do you know age of
49 years old.
Got it.
Yep.
And back to the threats, are you able to articulate, was it just kind of an overarching, I'll take care of it myself, as you mentioned, or were there more specific threats involved?
There were specific threats of gunfire and shooting.
Got it.
Yep.
I'm trying to think in regard to, you said you were in contact with him. He invited you in, but you wanted him to come out. But basically, I guess what I'm reaching for or asking is a lot of times in these situations, there's mental health issues, and I don't want to put you in a position for you to speculate.
Sure.
But I don't know what you may or may not be able to add about this person's fluency, for lack of a better way to say it, in talking with you.
In talking with him, so I'm talking with him over the phone. So I was not at the house. I was on the phone with him, trying to persuade him to come out to my officers that were on site down at the end of the street. While we spoke, he told me that he was not going to come out. He was lucid. He seemed like he understood what I was saying. He was clear what he was saying to me. He did not want to come outside. He said, I would welcome you to come into my home and have coffee with me. But he said he was not going to walk outside into the street and speak with my officers that were on scene. That we could come into his house and talk to him, but he was not going to come outside and talk to the officers on scene.
So he never threatened any officers on scene?
No, he never threatened. He never directly threatened any officers.
And at least the last one for me is, do you know what his issues were? Was it noise with the nearby business? What he was angry about?
Over time, I think it's been a number of complaints with, I think it's noise. It's a concrete plant, so those are big trucks. When they're rolling down the road, even when they're going slow, there's noise, there's dirt, So I think it was a conglomeration of all kinds of different issues. I don't really know what the fixation was on it because it's the only place on the street that we ever got complaints from. So I'm not really sure all of the underlying issues, but a lot of them were noise and they're dirty and, the employees park on our street and take up, parking on our street, and I don't want them parking on my street, which is a public street. So, but that was the main gist of the complaints.
I lied to you. I did have one more.
Of course.
Was there anything in particular in the talks with him? So this was 10:30, so you guys were talking to him for a couple hours roughly, right?
Yes.
Was there any point in time or anything that tripped the switch that let this end peacefully, that he finally decided, hey, or really nothing to point to as to what led him to finally come on out?
Right now, I don't know specifically what that was because the people that were talking to him were the negotiators, and I know that they were able to get him to a point where he would come out. I couldn't tell you specifically what that is right now. I don't know. They're still debriefing. But no, I don't know what that was, but they did an outstanding job, and this team always does an outstanding job, and they're very good at what they do, and they were able to talk to him and convince him that, hey, we really want you to come out and end this, in the best way possible.
What might he be charged with?
Certainly that's a Wayne County prosecutor call, so we'll send it down, but there's a litany of charges that could be, certainly the big one that, a lot of times when you have school threats and you have, I'm going to come to the workplace and shoot the place up, or there is a 20-year felony for terroristic threats that could be applied, but certainly that's not our call. We will write the packet, the report up, and we'll send that downtown, and it'll be the Wayne County prosecutor's call to decide what exactly they're going to charge.
Did he say anything when he walked out the door, when they escorted him out to the police car? Did they say whether he had shot in the air or he was apologetic for it?
He was concerned when he came out about, he has a cane that he walks with, and he was concerned about, he didn't feel like he was afraid if he used his cane that I think it would be seen, and again, I'm assuming what he was thinking, but I think he felt that it might be considered a weapon, so he wasn't sure about it, and I know one of the special ops guys told him, it's okay, you can use your cane, and they gingerly laid him down on the grass and, put him in handcuffs and took him away. So I don't know exactly if he said anything or what that might have been.
spot for evaluation, or is he in your custody?
He's in our custody. Yep, he is in our custody.
Appreciate you, sir.
Okay. One question.
Sure.
When you get a call like that, how did you know that he was acting alone and not trying to like lure you guys in?
Well, you never really do. I mean, we don't know that, and so, we set up the perimeter. We make sure that we have eyes on so that he or anyone else that could be, like you say, another threat, isn't going anywhere. And then, when everything is resolved and when he came out of the house and we took him into custody, we weren't done. The special ops team then, they make entry and they clear the house. We had obtained a search warrant from the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office to physically enter the home. So once he surrendered to us, we never just assumed that everything's okay. We send the special ops guys in, and then they went in, they cleared the house for us. And then once they determined the house was clear and safe, then our detectives go in and then they begin their investigation of what they need to obtain.
So you really recommend this? No, I'm really thankful that this ended peacefully with
Yes.
so many shootings that have been occurring.
Yes.
And, people just
There-
killing people at such a random number.
It could not have ended any better than it did. This is how we want anything like this to end, always.
You gonna recommend a psych evaluation for this guy?
That won't be our call. Right now, we're looking at the criminal charges, and then certainly, that will be for, if he chooses to go with a defense for that, Obviously, if we see something between now and when he's in our custody, there's actions we can take if we feel that he would need to be committed. If he starts doing something now that would give us the ability to put him in for a psychological evaluation or something like that. Right now, we don't have that. We don't see anything right now that would suggest that. So we are looking at criminal charges right now and filling out the paperwork and getting it to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office as fast as possible so that we can get that process going and, get the arraignment